I'm Tressa, and we're fancy marketing people with Union, a Wyoming-based telecommunications company. Yes, Wyoming really does exist, and we proudly serve the Rocky Mountain region.
On this podcast, we will feature businesses, organizations, nonprofits, and influential people from Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming.
Our mission is to highlight those who inspire their communities daily.
We believe this makes us truly authentic, because a journey of 1,000 miles always begins with a single step.
How exciting is this, Myra?
I know. Our third episode.
Our third podcast episode.
Oh my gosh. I can't even believe we made it this far.
In less than 24
hours. Guys, it is a flippin' sprint or a marathon. Are we running a marathon?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a marathon.
Yeah, we're really like squeezing Keith to death. So,
yeah, Keith's our amazing editor, producer, sound mixer, videographer,
friend, booster. Yeah. Hot man, wingman, all of the above. So poor Keith, but hey, I guess he gets to listen to us talk for several days.
He does. And then he gets to listen to it again when he does the editing.
Exactly. And then he gets to listen to us talk when we talk about work. So, man, how did he get so darn lucky?
I don't know. We're lucky. We're lucky to have him.
Yeah.
He's a very talented
Keith
guy.
is awesome.
And he gives us this talent that we can bring this podcast to you. Because of his talents, we can do this, right? So,
because I can't do this.
Yeah, me neither.
You would not.
I mean, I can talk,
can,
but the mixing is not happening.
My mixing
right?
would go from like one time my mom and dad for Christmas, they bought me this like fake DJ sound mixer as a kid. And so like they had like a couple little beats and then you would try to lay the track. And so it'd be like boom, boom, boom. So yeah, that's as far as we could get with this. And then I can always make sound effects with my mouth, but it would be garbage cans.
You're further along than I would be, Myra.
That would be where it ended. Yeah.
I mean, my mixing is mixtapes.
Mixtapes.
You'd have no idea. I mean, back in the day, though, like we made mixtapes. So you'd wait for your song to come on the radio. You know, you'd be ready with your, not your CD, your cassette to hit record. So you could make a mixtape for yourself or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever.
That's funny. Our mixtapes were CDs and from LimeWire, where you also got viruses on your computer. And you also downloaded content your parents probably didn't approve of because somehow it all like followed along with the song, or Napster or something fun like that. So I used to make people CDs and then I would like write on the top and like give them out. And
I kind of missed that actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird because now like I have Spotify and I have Apple Music and I don't really own anything. I don't own the song or I have to be connected to internet or download it down to my device. Like I don't buy people's music anymore. And that's so weird to me. I mean, I know they get like commission and money and they have contracts and royalties and all these things. Yeah, I know that they're making money on me somehow, but it is so weird. And so like I do buy vinyl records and I have a record player and I have like my dad's old records and stuff, but I definitely also buy rap on vinyl and it is beautiful. It's
I know you like rap.
I love rap.
Yeah.
I love hip hop. It's good stuff.
I like some of it, but yeah.
Nothing's better. Put on Outkast on your vinyl. You know, just throw down your Atlians on your record player and just jam out.
I should get me a record player. Play my country music on there.
Country music. With your wine.
Heck yeah.
Your wine down.
Exactly.
Really
yes. The wine,
down.
the country music, and my evening.
It's just the whole vibe.
I think
I like it. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah.
We should have wine down here.
Wine down.
Wine down. Take it to the next level.
Anytime after 5, yeah.
In the parking lot. Parking lot party. Just roll out a bar cart with your record player and just bring out your wine. Yeah.
There you go. I like
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Be like a little block party out here.
It would be. And then we'd really have good employee engagement.
Right?
Yeah. Everybody would want to work
like
here.
Happy hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. I think we should.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock.
Not here.
Not here.
Yet.
No.
Not yet. Anyway, so maybe we should ready to
Yeah,
get to the
our
actual
poor
show.
guest is having to suffer through us. So,
So today we're really excited to have Olivia here with Wyoming 211. She is in charge of the fundraising and the marketing of this nonprofit organization. So welcome to our show, Olivia.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here.
welcome.
Hey, girl. Hey. So do you want to start out just telling us a little bit about Wyoming 211, what the mission is?
I would love to. So, Wyoming 211 is a helpline that is for health and human resources. So, we connect people to anything from food pantries to transportation, health insurance, mental health counseling, rental assistance, utility assistance. So if it's a government service, a nonprofit, or a faith-based service, it's going to be held in our database, and we make referrals to clients that call in based on where they're located within the state.
Yeah, it's so amazing. We met Olivia a couple months back. I hadn't actually heard of Wyoming 211 until we started this partnership with them. And it was just amazing to hear the amount of resources that you connect people with. Like I expected the food pantries, probably stuff like that, maybe like utility assistance. But the depths that you guys are helping people is so amazing. And it's, right here within Wyoming. I don't know, do other states have programs like this? Is this a national thing?
Yeah, actually every state has a 211 number. Wyoming's was created in 2011, and the whole purpose behind it was to help take the pressure off of non-emergency calls coming into 911. So we're kind of partnering with the emergency care systems to provide help for those calls that really aren't an emergency. But the people who are calling, they feel like it's an emergency, right? And so what's great about 211 is there's a real person on the other end. And so when you're calling because you're panicking because you're out of food for the rest of the week and you're not sure how you're going to feed your children, when you call, somebody is kind and welcoming on the other end and is basically a problem solver. Because oftentimes when people call, they think they know what their immediate need is, like a food insecurity or, hey, my utilities are about to be turned off. But after we've engaged them in a conversation, we figure out that there's actually a lot of needs that we actually have referrals that we could help provide for, whether that be at the government level or right there within their own community.
Yeah, that was probably one of the coolest things when we had our conversation previously that stood out to me. The level of, we talk about it a lot. The problem is not really the problem. There's so much more to what's going on.
Yeah.
And I was so intrigued by your follow-up process and how, you'll even go to the depths of texting.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about that.
Absolutely. So not only do we have the call center where we have real people on the other end answering phone calls, we have a live action chat. So you can actually text 898-211. You would text it to your zip code, and that would start an interactive conversation. We ask kind of a series of intake questions, and then we get down to the real problem. Hey, how can we help you? What are you looking for? What's the area that you live in? And then we can actually text the referrals right to your phone with clickable links to the websites and phone numbers right there, so you don't have to go searching.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
One of the other things that you had mentioned when we spoke a few months ago that I thought was really, really cool, and I'd like you to talk about it, was the mental health aspect for farming and ranching, right? And we're in a state that's heavy with ranching, right? Maybe not as much with farming, but you actually were talking about how you have people go out into to their community or to their ranch or to their farm if they're in need of assistance. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we are really proud of that program. So we do have a program called AgriStress, and we partner with certain counselors, mental health counselors throughout the state that are willing to actually go out to the ranching and farming communities to make that connection. Because often, what we are hearing is the ranching and farming culture. It's kind of a cowboy up. You know, we're really prideful. We don't need any help. We're just fine. And I'm certainly not going to drive into town to be seen sitting outside of a mental health clinic. Right?
We all know each other's cars, okay?
Yeah.
Listener land, small town, everyone knows everyone's car. So you know exactly who's in the parking lot of that clinic.
Exactly. And we don't want to cause embarrassment. We just want to be a help, right? So we try to take away as many hindrances as we can. And we were able to find some counselors that were willing to go out to those rural communities to do those mental health check-ins. And it's been really well received and really helpful. You know, Wyoming has a pretty high suicide rate. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we do have a lot of rural and frontier communities, and it causes us to be really separate and outside of interacting with people on a daily basis. And so just knowing that there's somebody on the other end that's helpful. And we also have a lot of telehealth options too. So, you know, Skyping or Zooming for a counseling session has been really well received as well.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that the program is successful because I thought it was a fantastic idea, but it's wonderful to know that some of these, you know, it's the cowboy code of ethics type things are being broken down.
Yeah.
Of just, you know, I've got this, I can do this on my own, and that they're actually reaching out for assistance. So I think that's amazing because to your point, you know, mental health is a huge passion of ours as a brand and as a company, because within the state of Wyoming, you know, we usually are between Alaska and Wyoming with the highest suicide rate per capita. And, you know, we want to be an instrument of change, right?
Absolutely.
To hopefully we can be the bottom one day. Or the top, or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
wouldn't
the
that be
least
amazing?
amount. Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing, right?
That we've learned how to take care of those that are taking care of us. That's kind of the way we feel about our farming and ranching communities. We're really passionate about caring for those that are literally feeding and sustaining us. So
Yeah, I love that.
It's alleviating that burden or adding something to help remove those pressures when it feels like it's all on your shoulder. And we are so appreciative of the ranching community and what they do, and I couldn't do it. And so to hold that status or to hold all of that on you and then try to deal with your mental health at the same time, I mean, to me, I can't even imagine the challenge of that. So just to have that little, like a friend, like a backup, you know, something there that's meant and created, and they don't have to go out of their way to take care of it.
Right.
It's
if
there
you think
for
about
them.
it, not everybody wanted to ranch that's ranching. I mean, they might have grown up in a family and, you know, the older generation has passed away and they've handed it down and really they don't have the financial means to sell it. It's just easier for them or more financially forward for them to be doing it themselves, but they never wanted to and they don't really know how to, or the stresses that come up from that are really great and they're very difficult to deal with, especially if mentally you weren't really prepared for having to jump into that role. And so we have all kinds of programs, especially curated to that population that we're really proud of being able to refer people to. So.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. A lot of it is generational, right? It started with a grandfather or father, and then the pressure of what do they do if they don't have the I think you have a passion for something when you want to do ranching, right? You have a passion for that
because not every day is going to be a good day.
No,
right?
And I mean, I feel for them this year. I've seen a few posts from a couple of my friends who have ranches around here, just with the horrible weather during their calving season, you know, and just. They've really struggled. Oh, yeah. So, you know, I'm sure that the strain of this winter on them has taken its toll, just with a lot of loss of the calves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We recently were donated a sum of money from a John Deere equipment company who wanted to remain anonymous, but they made a large donation for our farming and ranching communities so that we can really take every effort to market for them specifically to go where they're located and make sure they know about 211 and this database of resources that we have curated just for them in their community. So we're really excited about that opportunity.
That's incredible. We actually attended a conference back in January, CES, And John Deere had such a huge presence, and they did I think a farmer campaign. And so it's really cool to hear that. I don't know how affiliated they are with the corporation, but for the donation, but it's cool that that's part of their brand. And then people that are affiliated with them, are also truly living that. That's really neat to hear. So kudos
really
to
encouraging.
John Deere.
Yeah, it was really encouraging to us too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so you travel a lot and you go to the different communities around the state. So two questions.
Okay.
First question is how do you measure distance when you're traveling across the state? And second question is how is this being received with the town councils that you're meeting with or the county commissioners? How are they taking this information?
Great questions. Well, so I'm from a big city. So really, I think in Wyoming, I measure from small town to small town. That's how I kind of.
Wow, that's a new one. So I said rest stops.
Oh, that's funny.
And I say by time, it's going to take 3 hours to get there.
Sure.
Not mileage time.
Yeah. So in my mind, because they are pretty succinct, one after the other, So okay, once I get to this one, then
the next one's I get that.
But so we've been pretty well received. What's shocking to me, because like I said, we became into existence in 2011, so that's a long time ago. Yeah. I still am amazed at how many people are like, wow, this is a resource that's in our state. I had no clue, which is heart-wrenching, especially as the director of marketing. You're like, ooh, But we recently received some ARPA funding, which hired my position, which now kind of gives us the finances to be able to get to every little nook and cranny and be able to tell people that we're here for them. And what I do love about meeting with the town councils or the first responders in some of our smaller communities is I just pitch to them that we're here as a partner with you in this. You are doing the nitty-gritty grind of every day. And when you approach a scene, let's say I'm a firefighter and I've just been called out because an old woman fell down a flight of stairs and broke something, right? And I go into that home and I'm like, oh my gosh, her utilities are turned off. Clearly she can't pay to, and wow, her pantry is completely bare. So as a first responder, you see those things, but you don't really know how to help them, but you want to, right? In the community, they're looked at as our helpers and our providers of getting us through an emergency. And so what we're hearing often from especially our first responders is they might know that the local food bank is open from 8 to 5, and they might know the street address, but they're really apprehensive in giving that information out because what if they decided to have shorter hours for the winter? Or what if they move locations into a bigger church down the street? If they give out wrong information, that bodes poorly on them when they're looked at as someone that's helpful in the community. And so often they just don't say anything. And so what we try to pitch to them is let us be your partner. We have this database of over 2,700 resources throughout the state. But what's great about what we do is we check those. So twice a year, we are checking all of our resources, all 2,700 of them. We're either calling them or they're calling us, and we're making sure that those operational hours are correct, that location is right, that their criteria that they have for helping that particular population is correct in our database, so that we can be confident that the information we're giving out is right, so that those first responders, when they're saying, hey, we see that there are some other needs that you might have here, you need to call 211, that they can be confident in us. So it's been really well received. People are almost relieved to know that we are here to partner with them. And I am just giving out marketing material like candy right now. And people are like, can you mail me more of those? I want to keep it in my work truck so that when we do arrive on scene, we can pass that out. And I love nothing more to mail stuff out to people. So
yeah, I love that. That's so great. That's a wonderful partnership with first responders because they do see so much of that, right, as they're assisting people. So I love that partnership. Can you kind of talk about, as you are trying to get the word out about 211 and we want to support that throughout the state. One, can you tell us, like, on average, like, how many calls you take per week? And as this advocacy grows and people do know more about 211, if you need to expand that contact center, or do you have the ability to do that as more people might use this as a resource?
It's a great question. So on any given day, we receive about 15 to 20 calls, which doesn't really sound like a lot, but I didn't, we do have that texting option, right? And what I didn't mention is our search engine on our website houses our complete database on the other end. So when you go on to wyoming211.org and you type in your zip code and what specific kind of need that you have, it'll pull up those resources for you in your area. So, calls 15 to 20 a day, but the stats for people that are actually utilizing our website and that are using that texting option are more than that. To answer your question, no, at this time, financially, we don't have the means to really expand right now, which is why we're really trying our hardest to get those corporate sponsorships, to partner with donors who are really, who see the vision for us as a unit of service and the importance that we have within the state, because like you had mentioned, we are a nonprofit, we're a 501c3, and so if we don't get a grant, then we literally are surviving off of donations that are given to us. So we do have some fundraisers that we put on and things like that, but we are really trying hard to be self-sufficient outside of grants, so that we're not determined on those specific grant monies and how we have to spend them and things like that. So our hope is that we will have to expand our call center because so many people know who we are. But on the flip side of that, we also hope that needs are being met and we're not needed, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a catch-22.
Yeah.
Really, we would love for our community to not need so much help, but anywhere you go, people are always going to be in need. So we're glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, and people's situations always change. Like, you may never find yourself in these types of circumstances, or think you're going to find yourself in those types of circumstances, and then you are, and then you don't know what to do. And so that's what I love about the awareness of this. You may be okay now, but you could use it in the future, or your friends and family may need it in the future. It's just something to know and to have in your head.
I mean, it causes me to think of two things when you're saying that. One, we actually have a layer of disaster recovery. So that's kind of what put us on the map as far as the governor is concerned. Governor Meade asked us to kind of be the call center for COVID-19 when that was happening. And so our call center, our community resource specialists is what we call them, were trained within 2 weeks to receive all those calls about, quarantining and how long they have to wear a mask in certain areas. And you might have thought you were calling the Department of Health, but that was actually 211's call center. Wow. So, as I was leaving the office on Monday morning, we were dealing with Sheridan County and making sure that we had the contacts for sandbags because they're starting to have issues with flooding. So I don't know that we're ever going to be obsolete. I think we're always going to be needed in this community.
Yeah, bringing up flooding, because we're also experiencing that in this community. And again, listeners, you guys know I'm not native of Wyoming, but I love Wyoming. And this is just something that I've never experienced in my time living in the state is like with how harsh the winter has been and how rapid the last snowstorm came in and then how warm it's getting and where is all the water going? And so that is just something that I would have never even imagined. I mean, I dealt with flooding because of hurricanes or like torrential rain, like downpours and flooding. I've dealt with tons of flooding, but never from snow
melt.
And so what a weird thing to be dealing with, but it's so cool that 211 can also be used in that capacity as well.
Yes. Yeah. We really pride ourselves on that. And actually we're about to partner with Homeland Security, and we're going to be doing a simulation throughout the state where we're going to have multiple disasters going on at once. And our call center is going to be handling those calls. Cool. And so we can be trained, and we're actually being audited by Colorado 211 so that we can really stand on that disaster recovery platform and say we can handle this and we are here to help out in a time of need. So
yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. That's happening this summer. So
So you brought up your fundraising. Is there anything coming up that you are doing that you want to share with the listeners?
Yes, I would love to. We are having our inaugural in-person fundraising event. And due to the fact that we're a statewide nonprofit, we're actually housing it in 3 different locations this year. So we're having it in Rock Springs, Wyoming, in Sheridan, Wyoming, and in Laramie, Wyoming. And we're having a lip sync battle.
What?
Yes.
That sounds so fun.
It's going to be a blast. So in Sheridan, I've already got the mayor of Sheridan County and the mayor of Ranchester committed. So it's going to be like mayor versus mayor battle.
Oh, that's
gonna
awesome.
be super fun. So anyway, it's going to be a really good time. We're excited. I hope that it also brings awareness. Obviously, that's important to us too. But we're really, really trying to raise that money so that we can be self-sufficient, like I said, outside of grants. So
Yeah. Well, we'll get our vocal cords warm.
Yeah, I know.
yes.
We don't
have to sing. You just have to
sing.
lip
Oh, yeah.
sync.
Oh, that is, well, I mean, okay. But you have to feel it. You
the
got to feel it.
costumes,
Yeah. You got to
the
get
dance
it. You got to get the
moves.
whole vibe. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
to
We're judging
live
on
in it.
all those things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the problem for me. The not singing.
Yeah.
No karaoke. No, that's great. That's going to be so much fun. So if people want to find more information, I'm sure you update your fundraisers and everything on your website.
Yes, you can
that's
find it
probably
on our
the
website.
best
Yep,
source
absolutely.
of information.
And then we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we are on LinkedIn. So you can find us that way too. We'll share that info on all of our socials as well.
Cool. I had one last question. Myra might have one last question, but is there any like success stories or like a cool, joyful story you can share that has come out of, something that either your contact center did or?
Yes, absolutely. And Myra touched on how she was interested in how we do those follow-up phone calls. And we recently started doing that for, 2 purposes. One, to make sure that the resources we gave out were correct, all the information was correct, and then also if it was helpful or if they're in need of anything else. So we have a wonderful woman named Stephanie who lives somewhere in the state, and she was fleeing a domestic violence situation in Colorado. Had known about the 211 program in Colorado, so called when she was in Wyoming, and it is all based on where you're located in the state. It's cell tower locations, and so that's what picks up where you are. So if you're calling in Colorado, it'll connect you to the Colorado 211, and vice versa. So. She had called and was really needing to be to find emergency shelter for she and her son, and. But she didn't have transportation there. And we actually have a particular program that provides transportation when it comes to health and human related services in this particular county she was calling in. So we were able to get her transported to the family shelter. And then she called again and said, now I need a job. So we were able to give her some resources for some job training. She was able to get a great job. And then we transported her, actually helped her move into a transitional home that she is starting to rent on her own now that she has income coming in, and she's now saving for a car. So it has just been neat to be able to see that pattern of Stephanie's life. And that whole interview with Stephanie is actually on our website if people are wanting to view that too. Pretty special.
I love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
One hand up can make just such a difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks so
we
much,
really
guys.
Appreciated
it's
it.
been fun.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation.
Yeah,
been wonderful.
Thank you for having us.
Sweet. Well, until next time.
Stay authentic.